Welcome back to NerdPod, special edition
Yeah,
featuring outside for me.
it looks cool.
I think it's a pretty cool look. Anyways, yeah, let's roll that intro. Welcome back to NerdPod, guys. My name is Dak, and that guy over there, his name is well, I don't know what his name is. What's your name?
My name's Kyle. This is
That's
episode 14 of N3rdPod.
yeah. We're back. Hey, Kyle, how are you doing,
Yeah,
man?
boys.
Yeah.
I'm
um,
good. I'm good. I've been focusing a lot on my physical health lately after putting that off for pretty much my whole life. And I'm feeling pretty good.
you got that ripped six pack that's got like two additional abs. What an eight pack? Yeah, an eight pack, ripped eight pack. Is that what you got now?
Oh yeah, no, I got a pot belly is what I have.
And who's helping that out? Is
Affectionately
that
called a dad bod.
a dad bod? Yeah. Is that a trooper transmission? Are you doing some of the
Yeah.
501st workouts?
I've been doing that, and then just random things I've seen on TikTok. A lot of it's just eating better, drinking more water.
Yeah, it's usually the
And
crux of it.
then
I've not been
I
following that.
have, and I haven't had a my own prescription for inhalers. I've been using my family's like leftover ones, and I finally went out and just got my own. As a normal adult would do.
Something that's just like helpful to not have you just completely die on us or anything. Yeah, it is what it is.
And then I have eye appointment next Thursday to finally get contacts that'll fit me
And that won't make you look like
instead
you've just
of looking
smoked
like
pot. Yeah.
I'm blazed out of my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't really ever see it on stream, but Kyle has really red eyes like 97% of the time. And when I very first
Hmm.
met him, I was like, this guy has to be just completely fucking baked out of his mind. But
Nope.
nope, it's just allergies
Nope.
and contacts that don't fit him. Well, that's kind of cool. I mean,
They
it
don't
sounds
fit.
like it's been good,
They don't
like
red.
focusing on yourself, which is good. It feels like with the break that we took, it's kind of been self-focused, which is really, really good, which I love to see. Love to see it.
Oh, even last week, like mentally, I was just like, I don't want to do anything that
Yep.
I like at all. So I was like very depressy last week.
Yeah.
But that's more mental stuff, and that's harder to work on than physical, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And you know what? Like, it's okay. It's okay to have those days. Lord knows I've had those early on in the podcast, and anybody who's listening, like, please know that we should normalize having bad mental health days and just taking that day just to kind of do whatever you want to do and just kind of focus on yourself. So, I
Hmm. Hmm.
completely, I completely agree with that, and I think it's really cool that we I feel like it's cool that we have a friendship where we can focus on that type of stuff and it doesn't set up all these drama flags or anything else. You know what I mean? Like, I like that you and I can just be
Hmm.
honest with each other with our mental health and it just be what it is. And that's, the community that we want to foster with NerdPod, which I just love.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so for me, like, obviously, I think you made the joke the other day that I need to, like, probably just go into a bubble and just exist in a bubble for the rest of my life because I manage to
Yeah, you've been getting sick
constantly
like crazy.
either getting sick or getting myself fucking
Um,
hurt, man. Like, it's
yeah.
bad, but I'm okay. I'm on the mend. I've been getting better. But yeah, I keep getting myself hurt. I keep getting myself into these situations where I'm either getting sick or just like I don't know. It'd be nice to catch a little bit of a break, but I think we're there. And yeah, outside of that, I've just been kind of just hanging out. Work hasn't really slowed down for us. I know you guys have gotten slower, or at least the company's gotten slow enough that they've started
Yeah.
making some cuts. But for
Um,
me, I've not been any slower. I've been just as busy as I was like
well, it's
right
good
when I moved
though.
back. I think it's good, but
And I think,
you know it as well as I do. These like breaks, having that like break, having that like slowdown helps like mental health and
for
everything
sure.
else. Yeah.
I had a couple days off last week, and like it was cool to have the days off, but financially, it's not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think when we worked together, um, I only took days off when I really needed to.
Yeah.
Just because like if I took a day off, financially I'm fucked. One
Yep.
day off and I'm fucked.
Yep.
So like having 2 or 3 off in a row isn't ideal. But it's picking up again this week and for the rest of the month. So
That's good. That's good. I it's been kind of good like catching up with everybody from up there. I'll admit to you, I do miss it. I do miss it up there. I miss the mountains. I didn't think I was gonna miss like the lack of stuff to do or like the slower pace of like life, but I do miss that a lot.
mm-hmm.
I really just miss the solitude more than anything else. Like I miss the chance of being able to get off work, go for a hike for like an hour, not have to see anybody, just kind of, you know, release that energy out. Like it's just different. And I think that I think until I kind of find my rhythm here, like it's just kind of trying different things out, you know, figuring out what works best for me. But you know, I do have to say I'm fortunate and I'm blessed to be able to be back and to not have the financial struggles that I feel like a lot of my friends and a lot of people in life are having right now. So count my blessings for
it's
sure.
rough up here.
Yes, it's sad. It's sad to see how bad it's gotten up there, and it's sad to see with everything that's happening at work too for you guys. Like it's scary. Oh, hi, Mr. Squirrel. I don't think you can see the squirrel in the frame, but there's a cute little squirrel that just perked its little head up at me and said, "Hey, what's up, Dak?" Anyways, so yeah, so that's kind of it for my life. Not a whole lot's been happening. Nothing too crazy. Outside of that, Ahsoka finished. Ahsoka wrapped up. That was what 3 or 4 weeks ago now that Ahsoka's finished. So we're a little late to the game on that one, but I know that you and I probably have some pretty decent thoughts to give on it. We do want to keep this episode a little bit more on the hour side, so we're going to keep it a little bit more short this week, guys. But I think realistically, I mean, everybody's already seen the same information regurgitated over and over again about Ahsoka. So I think Kyle and I are just going to give you guys our simplistic thoughts of the overall season and kind of what our next expectations are. So without further ado, let's talk about some Ahsoka.
So I don't want to just immediately get super negative, but my immediate thoughts go to the very odd last episode and like ending that's supposed to be cliffhangers that I really didn't feel like cliffhangers or really ended up caring about in the grand scheme of things. But the show itself I liked a lot. It's just that the ending leaves a really, really bad taste in my mouth and I cannot get over it.
So Dave Filoni.
And now that we've got even more time to process it, I'm just like, I still don't
think about it. Yeah,
don't like it.
You know, I'm glad that you and I have kind of similar thoughts when it comes to the show, because I thought stepping in here I was going to be like the negative Nancy and be like, man, I don't know. I did rewatch the show though in preparation to talk about this specific segment, so. I don't know if I did justice. I don't know if I did myself justice by rewatching it start to finish. Like I thought it was going to help. I kind of thought it was going to help, like how with Andor, people had similar complaints about pacing, about story, about everything, because it just didn't make sense each week, but it made sense when you watched it start to finish, right? So I thought that maybe we were going to have a similar thing with Ahsoka, but I don't know. I'll definitely let you touch a little bit more on that though. So you know, before we do get into the ending, because I think that you and I can spend a little bit of extra time on the ending, let's talk a little bit about kind of our pacing through the episodes, pacing through week and week. Let's talk about kind of the story start to finish. So what do you feel like, you know, when we first started watching the show together, what did you think, like, where did you expect the story to go? Did you feel like at the end of it, we were like satisfied with everything that it was setting up in those first 3 episodes? Or do you feel like there was a lot of stuff that is still left?
Yeah. I feel like our predictions, we predicted a lot slower of a show.
Yeah.
From what they ended up doing. I thought honestly that we weren't going to get thrown into like the last 10 seconds of the damn season. I didn't think they'd find Ezra at all.
Interesting.
Not in this season, or I don't know if they're doing a second one. I figured they would have found him in the movie. With the Anakin stuff, now that I'm looking back on it, as cool and awesome as it was, I feel like it's a more of a fan service nostalgia sort of thing.
Yeah,
I loved
yeah,
it, and
yeah,
I am serviced as a fan. But
exactly.
they did it help with the overall plot? Not really. Not to me anyway.
Like, I think it helped with Ahsoka's plot. I can think it helped with Ahsoka's development as a character and helped answer some of those questions that we did have, but it didn't affect the story that we find ourselves in.
The overall, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it's still very cool to see Hayden playing Vader and
Oh, for
Anakin.
sure.
I'll
Oh,
give
for
him
sure.
that. Um, Initially, I loved the Balin and Shin and Marok stuff that
You
was
just said
going on, and
initially.
it ended up kind of just initially, it kind of just ended up being to me,
Yeah.
all for nothing in the end.
So, like, are you talking about
Like
all three of
one,
them, or are we talking just Merrick? Like, come on, we got to get a little clarification on
or
that one
just
specific point.
yeah, sure. Just with Balin kind of being like, "Oh, I'm never gonna abandon you" or whatever, and then doing it
Yeah.
literally the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah. No, like literally,
The Mark
literally.
thing, everyone kind of had their own speculations, and I remember saying, "I hope it's nobody," because I think it'd be hilarious, and it ended up being nobody, and I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
The
But
number
I
of
thought
weeks that
they
like you and
probably
I
could have
texted each other back and
they
forth
could have
with
kept
all of
him
our
around.
predictions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They could have kept him around. You don't like you can keep his death the same way, but I think he could have been in at least up until the finale, and then kind of kill him off, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and then the Night Sister stuff makes even more sense
More
because they're
sense.
actually
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, especially because
Um,
I mean, he was so integral to like all of the marketing that we got like before the show even came out.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Like he was in the Vanity Fair photo shoots and all
yeah,
that stuff, and
yeah. But keep going. Yeah, keep
um,
going.
I yeah.
Or is that kind of it?
What else was there? I mean, I didn't really mind the pacing, but I feel
Yeah,
like it went definitely it went a lot faster than I thought it was going to, and I don't know if that's just
it went from
they
being
know they're not
slow to
getting to
very
season
fast.
2,
Yeah,
or yeah, it was very here we go. Okay,
yeah,
and we're gonna get all this stuff
yeah,
very quickly. I guess I never really thought about how they would find Ezra.
yeah.
Um, but it was kind of anticlimactic in my opinion.
A little
I
bit.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, there he is. Okay,
I
and then
think that if the
yeah,
emotions were
I
there, like if it felt like genuine, authentic human emotions were behind like their
mm,
scenes a little bit more, if it would have felt a little bit more realistic, and it would have probably been a little bit more satisfying. And there's just not like there's legitimately there's no excuse that anybody can give me as to why it played out the way it did with Ezra's reunion scenes. Like there's just no way that writing made sense for it to be so lackluster. Like as a sincere
mm,
Rebels fan, as a sincere Star Wars fan, like there's no way. And I don't know. Like I think that was one of the big crutch points for me where I was like, okay, now I'm starting to really see some issues with the show. But yeah, those reunion scenes, man, those were those were pretty rough. I think
yeah.
I think it was Matt who said I get more excited to come home and see my kids every night, and I know exactly where they're at and exactly what they're doing. And he's more excited to see his kids every night than we saw with like Ezra and Sabine's reunion, or even Ezra and Hera's reunion. Sorry, not
Hmm.
union.
That's a good perspective. Yeah,
Yeah, it's I don't know. I
like they
think
haven't seen him in forever, and it's like, hey,
yeah.
hugs. How'd you get here?
Well, and especially
That's
because
it.
I mean, I mean, you've watched Rebel seasons 4. You know how like
Yep.
the emotions are so intense. Like everyone's, it's almost like it really humanized people in a way that we haven't seen a lot of other ways in Star Wars. Like, yeah, we've seen like temper tantrums in Star Wars, and we've seen human emotions. That's what we saw in like Episode 2. That's like what Episode 2 is supposed to be about. But like, I think in Rebels season 4, especially with dealing with the death of Kanan Jarrus, like it definitely, like you can see very raw, realistic human emotions, and all we have is voice actors and animation. So I guess in my mind, I was
Hmm.
expecting, especially since it did feel like the entire show was more of a fan service, which I completely agree with you on. or I should say more than just those like few episodes. I'm going to broaden it actually and say more than just that the thing with Anakin. I do think that the entire show was just a fan service, but
Oh, okay.
I would say that like it's hard for me to want to 100% back it up and say that it is one of my favorite shows. Like it is because it is Ahsoka we're talking about, and because Ahsoka is one of my
Mm-hmm.
all-time favorite Jedi. Like I do have this like biasness behind the entire series regardless. Um, but at the same time, like I think it's important that like especially as deep Star Wars fans and especially as people like you and I who do deeply analyze the Star Wars content, like it is important that like we do call it out for what shit went down. And I can't figure out where to necessarily put the blame. And I think that excuse me, sorry. I think that when we tried recording this the first time last week, I think I said that it almost felt like maybe he was rushed in his writing because the pacing seemed succinct all the way until that last 3 episodes. And
Yeah, it kind of feels like he wanted to do a whole lot
yeah,
and had to speed it up,
and then because I mean, think about it, like
or just
episode one,
didn't
two,
it
and
didn't
three,
hit as
like
well.
exactly. And I think that when you speed stuff up like that, like it was, people complained about how slow episode 1 and 2 were, but I liked it. I liked that they took their time to set the story. I like their time that they took their time to set the stage and set the emotions and set the relationships and everything like that. That's one of the things that I loved about Andor is that Andor was slow, big air quotes there, slow, but it did a really good job of pacing it through and setting it up. And it just felt like once we got through these different arcs, it just felt like they started rushing the story arcs. And I mean, listeners,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you guys who don't know, that's like Dave Filoni's like fucking crack cocaine written Bible. That's what he does. He does story arcs within series. So like this time, it felt like everything made sense until they got to Peridia, and then it just all collapsed in on itself, and it just was like, whoa, are we watching the same show? Is this like the same series, or like what's going on here? And it's disappointing
Mm-hmm.
because like we all wanted more and we all expected more, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is Disney not putting the appropriate money behind it. I don't know if this is Disney coming in and trying to make all these decisions behind it because it's hard for me to accept that that the story was written the way it was and that all these fallacies that we find in it. It's hard for me to accept it because this is like Dave Filoni's character. This is his favorite character. This is the character he created, and this is what got him like
Mm-hmm.
attention in George Lucas's eyes. So like it's I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm kind of trying to think back. How did I feel at the end of
Yeah.
Andor? How did I feel at the end of Jedi Survivor? And like I was happy and elated, and with Ahsoka, I was just like, "What?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay." Like I
Yeah,
didn't care
man.
about
That's a good way to put
anything
it.
that was set up. I
Yeah.
really didn't. And
Do
I'm
you
not trying to
feel
shit on the show because overall I like it, but
yeah.
it's just it goes in odd directions.
It
But
really does. It takes
watch
these
it,
turns
form
in
your own
ways that doesn't
opinion,
make
and
sense.
yeah, I don't know. And like you said, I can't put the finger on
Yeah.
why.
It just feels off. Like it started off feeling like it was part of the Star Wars space opera style, and I know that like we praised it pretty heavily whenever it first started because we
Mm-hmm.
said it does feel like a return to that, but it just again there's just something that happened once they got to Peridia that everything just really turned. You know, I do think that it's important probably for us to call out some of the coolest moments of the show. So I mean, you know, for me, I definitely think I think it was cool being able to see a very developed Ahsoka and to see her pick up on some of those force wielding abilities that maybe we haven't seen in a lot of other mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I fucking loved the representation of like all of the animals that they did in this series, and I really liked that they are maybe I don't even know if it's necessarily like pushing a woke narrative because Star Wars has always been political, but I do like that they're kind of pushing this narrative a little bit more about like space force beings and space like nature, how nature is connected still with like Jedi's and like humans in a sense. I also like that they
Mm-hmm.
have also started to give a little bit more attention to how poorly droids have been treated for like all of Star Wars history. So I thought that was kind of cool that they really did a good job of humanizing Hu Yang and really making him a central character more than just what we saw with like C3PO, which was kind of just like the joke character, right?
Comedic relief, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that they did all these different things. Of course, I mean, I love Rosario's interpretation of the character, and I love her display of the
Yeah.
character. I thought that she did a really good job. I would say more than any of the other characters, maybe outside of Ezra. I did really like Ezra, but I would say maybe more than any of the other characters, I think she did a really good job of showing what a character would look like 10 years down the line. That's part of my issue with Sabine. That was
Mm-hmm.
part of my issue with Hera. Is it didn't feel like those characters had developed in a natural way. It felt like they were written to be shown to look a specific way after 10 years, but it didn't feel like it was natural. And then, of course, I mean, Balin Skull, man. I mean, that character in and of itself, like, it is so sad, man. It is so sad that we lost Ray before we got to see him take
Mm-hmm.
that character farther. Because, I mean, that was one of the greatest, most complex villains that I think we have ever seen in Star Wars canon, at least.
And if you exclude Anakin from the show, he's my favorite
Yeah,
part of it up
yeah.
until the end there.
Which, yeah, let me not even glaze over the Star Wars stuff or the Clone Wars stuff. There's been a few shows that have made me cry from the minute that the show starts to the minute the show ends. Then that episode right there. That one singular episode, I think I told you guys this, or you guys this. I think I told you this last week. Or 2 weeks ago when we tried this. I think there's very, very few shows out there where I can say that like that standalone episode is one of my favorite single pieces of medium in like
Mm-hmm.
in all. It just was so good, and I thought they did such an incredible job with the story. And again, I just like you, I don't necessarily think that it mattered to the overall story we were getting from the series, but I thought it would have been like, it was almost like it was like a Tales of the Jedi kind of like side thing, you know what I mean? Like where we get like super cool lore, super cool stories, but it doesn't actually affect the rest of the shit. I thought it was really, really cool, and I loved it that they even showed her like with her dark side tendencies. And it wasn't until I rewatched it, episode before that to that episode, how she even did show signs of using the dark side whenever she thought that Sabine was killed by Shin, whenever they were at the map. Remember when Shin walks up and she like throws her against the wall? Like it was
Mm-hmm.
cool seeing that, like, I don't know. I love that, like, in general right now in Star Wars, they're showing all of these Jedis actually start to fall to the dark side and choose to walk away from that and choose to do what's right. Like, it is so cool being able to see how close all these other characters got when in our minds as Star Wars fan, the only one that we saw fall in front of us was Anakin. So it's cool seeing these other people have the power to resist it even in that circumstance. But I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts, my simplistic thoughts.
Yeah, the whole World Between Worlds thing just stands alone as the single coolest Star Wars thing that's come out in I don't even know how long.
Been so long. Because even when it was out in Rebels,
just-
man, I just
yeah.
didn't have the same visual or emotional appeal, because it
Mhm.
was just different.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you look at Hayden and Obi-Wan as well, and it's like he has the best part of that series is when him and Obi-Wan are just talking with his mask cut open.
It's almost like
So
Hayden
it's
Christensen's.
Hayden's killing it.
Yeah, it's almost like Hayden Christensen should have just never been shit on for as long as he got shit on. I don't know. I will say one of the things that I saw people comment a lot, and I think even you and I have commented on it, and it's something I do have to remind myself of. The writing has never been good in Star Wars. Like Andor is maybe outside of like maybe like Andor, Rogue One, some of the post Disney merger products, like as much as we do love George has never been good at writing dialogue, like to where it feels natural and it seems real. So I think it's hard sometimes for me to listen to critiques, and it's hard for me to even like, I have to catch myself critiquing different like Star Wars mediums because we want the writing to be good. We want the writing to be a certain way, but like it's just never been that way. It's always been directed towards younger audiences. It's never been come here for like the, Dune style deep lore writing. So I don't know. It's but like you said, overall the show was really, really good, but it definitely, I feel like it was not worth the hype myself, even as the guy that hyped up the show more than anybody else did in our Discord or in our community.
Mm-hmm. It just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Well,
Yeah. But you know what?
now we've got to kind of stew on it for a bit, and it's like whatever.
especially because we just don't know what's coming up next. We don't know if we're getting a show. We don't know if it's just going to go straight into the movie. And we thought we might have been able to potentially know, but then all the writer strikes all of the concessions they made just went straight back out the window, and they're back to being on strike, both the writers and the actors. So who knows? We may not even see any Star Wars content until 2026, and that might suck, but I guess we'll find out what other nerd shit we can talk about. You want to start talking about Star Wars, or Star Trek, I mean?
Hard pass.
Yeah. It doesn't leave a sour taste in my mouth, though, Kyle. Lightsabers.
I mean, if you had a lightsaber in your mouth, you'd be dead. So I guess I get that.
Okay. Why are you the way that you are?
Go on.
Why do you...
I hate myself, too. I'm so sorry.
So, guys, for those guys who don't know, Kyle and I have both made some questionable purchases. I'll say questionable just because maybe financially it wasn't the smartest decision for us to make. But Kyle and I both bought lightsabers. Sorry. Okay. Let me make myself look better here. I bought one lightsaber. Kyle, how many lightsabers have you bought?
2. But one, to be fair, one was off Temu, and it was like $10.
I was gonna say, yeah. Acknowledging the truth behind this whole story is that I probably did spend more on mine than Kyle did on both of his. So let's just be fair here.
Oh yeah.
But Kyle, do you want to show yours really quick while I go grab mine? You want to whip it out, Kyle? You want to whip out your white lightsaber and show? You want to show stream your big laser sword?
It's my lighting today, so.
I was gonna say, can we get away with this? Is this gonna be breaking?
Yeah. I'm not gonna take the blade out.
So, guys, my laptop is down here. So when I'm looking down here, it's because I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah. Show us it.
And,
Ooh.
Yeah, you can see it's So I got it off Etsy. I couldn't tell you who actually makes it because it's from a third-party seller. But it's called the Ghost lightsaber. And it's custom, so like no character has used it. That was the appeal to me. And then as you know, as the listeners know, my favorite lightsaber belongs to Starkiller because the Kyber crystal shows, and that's exactly. I know it might be too bright, but you can see on the sides that the crystal shows.
Is the crystal show in that one, or is it supposed to be the vents that's showing in that one?
It might be the vents. In my head,
it's still exposed. Still exposed. Yeah, still exposed.
But it's not like the crazy ass ones you see where they do all this stuff. I got the cheapest RGB one.
But it still looks really good on camera. Like you can't even tell that it's not.
It has 12 sound fonts, all the colors you would want. And I didn't know what the sound fonts were going to be beforehand. It didn't say, but it has, Cal Kestis, it has Starkiller, it has Anakin, Vader, Palpatine, Grievous.
Okay.
Yoda, Dooku.
Yeah.
It has the Darksaber, and that's probably my favorite sound.
Really?
It was about $140 on Etsy. I wish I could remember the seller.
Keep going. I'm gonna go grab
one.
If
you want to have the same one, it's called the Ghost, and I don't know. It's really easy to kind of change the colors and stuff. Except I messed it up. Oh, now it's flashing. But that's nice. I mean, I love it. And I didn't need like an expensive one that turns on in a cool way or flashes in a cool way. I just wanted my own custom saber that no characters in the movies or games has had, and that's what I got, and I love it. And I'm gonna turn it off so you can talk about that.
Yeah. I think that's cool though. I think that's cool. I really do like that exposed vent style. I think the first one that I ordered,
it is my favorite.
The Falcon, I think it had a similar thing, and I like that. It's not something we've seen too often in like mainline canon. It's more stuff that we've seen under like High Republic era stuff, which I think you even commented on whenever you
Hmm.
first got yours, and I love that. I also like that
Yeah,
yours
mine
has like
has
this
hints of
very and
gold.
oh,
Yeah.
yours is gold. Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say it
So it's
has like
it's
these very
silver,
nice
gold, and black.
accents,
Yeah.
silver, gold, and black. That's cool. That's cool. I like
And
that.
it's kind of like futuristic with like High Republic sort of splashes, I
Jesus,
guess
that's loud.
is the best way to kind of put it.
Yeah, that is
But
cool.
yeah, I love the thing. It looks awesome.
I think so too. I think that's a really cool look. So mine, I haven't really showed anybody. I got it like a long time ago, but it took me a long time to do all the different stuff that I've done to it.
Yeah, you kind of modded it a little bit.
Yeah, I customized it. So I'll show what it looks like out of the box on stream, or not on stream, but like kind of up on screen right now. But yeah, so I actually got the Tuca saber, which for those of you guys who are listening who don't know or watching who don't know, Tuca is actually a content creator, a Star Wars content creator on TikTok and Instagram, on YouTube, and he does just like lightsaber reviews. That's like his whole thing. Dylan's a super, super, super cool guy. I do want to clarify with everyone before I show you guys this. I did check with Dylan. I just wanted to make sure that it was cool. That I did kind of make some mods to it and at least show off the mods to it. And he actually really, really fucking loves them. And I
That's awesome.
likes him enough that I might actually just make one for him and just send it to him. But anyways, yeah. So Tuca, so he'd paired up with Saber Theory, which is one of the big three saber manufacturers or saber resellers.
Oh yeah.
Here
Oh
in the
yeah.
States. So he paired up with Saber Theory and created this lightsaber, and you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell that it's a spinning lightsaber, because that's kind of like Dylan's thing that he does at the end of every video, just based on kind of the ergonomics of it. But it's really nice. So this is mine. I don't know if it's gonna focus or not,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah. So I went in with like leather
The grip you put
wrapping
on
and
there is really nice.
yeah. And then even like right there on the hilt, that's actually mail twine, like old style US mail, like airmail twine when they used to use that to like tie up packages and stuff.
Hmm.
So I used that in there. So what a lot of people don't realize actually is, if you look at the movies, a lot of like 9 times out of 10, a Jedi is not holding a lightsaber by the grip, like right there. Ooh, it just turned on. It's not holding by the grip. It actually holds up here. Like, I notice that the next time you watch something, like notice how they're holding it. And so the grip, I actually noticed after I created it that it actually makes like a really, really good backhanded grip to hold it like that style, like
Okay.
Ahsoka or Starkiller.
Killer, yeah.
Mainly just because of those like ridges right there make it like really, really firm. But yeah, so honestly, like what I did is that I took like the nice finish, I like scratched it the shit down, I like threw it around so there's like little dents and stuff in it. I just wanted it to be like super, super weathered, and like my whole mentality behind it was just inspiration from Fallen Order. I've just have how like Hal Kestis uses his master's lightsaber. That's kind of like the same direction that I took with it. Was like, this is a lightsaber that was gifted to me, and then of course I made it my own, and it's very old and very weathered. And I really like it. This will not be my first and only purchase. Like, I'm definitely going to get some more lightsabers. I want to get a smaller blade and make this more of like a Shito blade, just because of how small it is. But yeah. Oh, and then the other thing I did with it, so it did come with like 36 fonts, and as much as I do love Saber Theory
Wow.
and the fonts that it did come with, I deleted all of
That's a
them.
lot.
Yes. The problem that I ran into, and I don't know if you experience this on your RGB one, but because I have a Xenopixel board, I can fuck mine up pretty easily, to where like, I don't know. So like this one, I don't even think you can even see it. But so what I did is that I deleted all the sound fonts and went to, oh, it turns on again. Yeah, it's too light outside for you to even see it. But I deleted all the sound fonts, and then I went over to Kyberphonics. Yeah, Kyberphonics is what it is. I went over to Kyberphonics and downloaded some of their fonts. It's only $10 a font. I've kind of been doing it over the past few weeks, so I've just been spending like $10 here and there. But I got a few different ones that I want to show off. So first off,
Sure.
everybody needs to go over to Kyberphonics, check him out. This dude does all of the fonts himself. It's not like he's ripping them from somebody else. If he pairs up with somebody else or if he collabs with somebody else, he gives them credit. Like, it's very, very cool to see somebody literally creating lightsaber fonts for like swinging and everything. It's so cool.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So that's super cool.
Dude, it totally is. part of the issue when you have a Xenopixel is that it's very easy because you can change like the blade from like, stable to pulse to unstable to cracked. You can change it to all these different things, but it's really easy to mess up your settings that way, to where you've completely messed up the ignition, you've completely messed up the blade itself. And so I did it honestly just that way I could learn how to like reset it to where it just looks the way it's supposed to out of the box. And through that, discovered all these different ones. So this one right here, this one is the Bode Kuna one. So like even from like the game, how it has that like really like deep undertone kind of noise to it, that came out on this font, which was really, really cool. I forgot which other ones I got actually. So I got the Ahsoka one, of course. So it's got the Ahsoka sound. There's some of the other ones I got.
I think I have Ahsoka as well.
Yeah. I think on yours it's probably called either the Bounty or the Sorcerer. I think is what they're called on two different ones. But I actually picked up Master Yaddle's lightsaber from Tales of a Jedi.
Oh, that's cool.
Just because it's
That's
green
super
and
cool.
I think it has a little bit more
really
of a...
Good.
It does. It looks way better in dark. Trust me, guys. But I also... The reason why I like the Master Yaddle one is because it has a lot of a deeper undertone to it, which, as much as I do like this lightsaber, it does not have a very good speaker, so I'm excited to find a lightsaber with a much better speaker. Let's see what else we have. Oh, yeah, Shin Hati. I got the Shin Hati one, which is really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can't really see it on this, but this is like her... Oh, God, I wish I was inside so I could show
Orangish,
it. Yeah, it's that deeper orangish
Yeah.
red. And again, this is another one that like it's kind of hard to hear on my speaker, but like on the other one it has this like higher whistle tone at the top, which if you listen to the show you can kind of hear it. But yeah, so we've got her lightsaber, which sounds really, really cool too. Let's see what else. I think I also have a Kai. Yeah. Okay. So those of you guys who know, Cyan was like my absolute all-time favorite lightsaber from Fallen Order and Survivor. So I got the Cyan blade. And it's even got that like cyan noise, which we both agree is like one of the coolest sounding lightsabers ever.
Yeah, that one and I think Magenta.
Magenta.
Are my favorite.
You can get Magenta. You can get Magenta on Kyberphonics. All right, so this one is one of the custom ones that's not based on an actual canon character or a character that we've seen. It's based on Son of Corellia, which I can't remember the character's name.
Okay.
But it is one of the older Legends characters. But I really, really liked it because it sounds pretty similar to the Magenta saber, and I just kind of chose that was the one that I wanted to use for the purple, which it's kind of hard to see on this, but the purple that I chose is much more of like a pinkish purple. But oh, I just tapped that really loud. But yeah, so there we go. So yeah, those are my lightsaber fonts. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool, like
that
trying it.
You did your own spin on it.
Yeah, and that's ultimately at the end of the day, I feel like that's what lightsaber creation is supposed to be, and so I kind of like just took it and ran with it. I am very excited. I think. Listeners, I think Kyle and I's goal is still to try our absolute hardest to make it to Celebration 2025 in Anaheim. We'll see what our lives are like at that point. But dude, I'm so excited. Like, Baked Me started like watching some videos by Josh B. Windu. Great guy. Go watch him. I'm going to link him down below. Super, super fucking cool guy. We're going to be doing a video soon. But he posted the entire saber making experience on YouTube, and it was really, really cool. And I got really, really baked and got very emotional. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for Kyle and I to go do this. But it's kind of the same thing there. Like, you pick your own style, you make it your own. You get to choose specific little nodules and make, maybe change the pommel out to make it look different than the other person's. It's just, it's cool. And that's what I like about it. Is
that the one at the Disney park, or is it a different?
Yeah,
thing?
The Galaxy's Edge one.
Okay.
But yeah, so there we go. Lightsaber segment. We forgot to announce that we were doing a lightsaber segment to where I can do the overlay, but lightsabers. Okay, so what else do we got? So, because we're starting to run out of time. Funniest reels of the week. Do you have anything, or just the one that I showed you?
I mean, not anything prepared, no. And like, anything I
Yeah.
sent to you was probably what I would have
Just the
done
ones
on
for the
here
week.
anyways.
Yeah.
You've seen it, but
Yeah.
I didn't watch what you sent me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just watch the one that you sent me, or that I sent you. I mean, um, so I don't know how. I would say just pull it up on your phone and just watch it on your phone, because I don't think I can. What I'll do is I'll overlay it to where I just
Okay.
do a screen recording to where we're just like we cut back and forth between the screen recording and then your reactions to it. But go ahead and pull it up on your phone and let's watch it.
Sure.
All right, guys. So the
This
next little
site,
segment that we're
yes,
going to be
please.
the next little segment that we're going to be doing is just kind of a side thing, especially with some of the Star Wars content, kind of slowing down. We are going to shift a little bit away from talking specifically only about Star Wars. So each week I would like to, I'm going to sneeze. Fuck. So each week we are going to do a new little segment where we're going to do a funniest reel of the week or a funniest TikTok of the week, whatever may have you. For those of you guys who are a part of our Discord, definitely send us some. Definitely post some in the memes page to get your little shout out and to maybe be featured on the next week's video. So this week I found one on Instagram, and guys, yeah, go ahead. Guys, it is so absurd. Okay. The ending is not where I thought it was going to end.
Is this the right one with the van?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Oh no! Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh, is that a little kid?
Yeah. That little kid's face too, dude.
Oh my gosh. I didn't see the little thick kid thing coming.
I know. Dude, I was literally sitting at my desk. To say that my jaw dropped and I genuinely have never been more shocked in my life. I have genuinely never been more shocked in my life. I was expecting just like some drunk person to come crawling out of the vehicle or something. Mm-hmm. Not a fucking child. And the look on the child's face, like pure terror. Pure, what did I just do? Like it's almost so absurd that it almost has to be fake, because I could not find the original poster, because the person that did post it on Instagram was just reposting it from the original person and didn't leave any sort of like credits. So it's insane. It's insane. What else? All right. Next up, guys, we want to try and bring you a weekly music or podcast or some other type of media recommendation. And this week, I've got a recommendation. Kyle, do you have a recommendation?
I do.
You do have a recommendation. Kyle, do you want to go off with yours first?
Sure. Make it short and sweet. My favorite band of all time, Blink-182, just put out
Who's that?
Their brand new album on Friday. They're the band that blinks a lot.
I heard that they sang a song one time about all of the very large things. Is that true?
That's the one.
Yeah. See, I know things.
Totally true.
I know things. See?
Yep.
So yeah, they released a new album.
Pretty much all I've got for music.
Yeah. I mean, is it kind of true to the similar format? Like, are they still just doing kind of that like pop punk, or like what is this new album? Have they kind of like evolved their sound?
They've mixed a bit of electronic stuff in there.
Ooh,
and then,
okay.
With not on all the songs, but some of the songs feel like, older stuff. There's some that kind of have like a faster paced kind of hardcore element to it.
Yeah.
But lyrically, like, there's still some silly ones, with Mark having survived stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
There's some songs about kind of feeling hopeless and.
Yeah, I was wondering how that has affected his like music capability. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few songs about that, and it hits deep.
Isn't it crazy
But
to think that we've been
I
listening
like
to
it.
them for like 20 plus years, man? Like that is insane to think about.
Yeah, they've been a band as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
So 31 years.
It
That's
is
insane.
literally, no, it's literally insane though. It is literally wild getting to that age where you're starting to like think of stuff that is now considered retro because it's 20 years old, which apparently is the gate for when something is considered retro, is if it's 20 years older or 20 years or older, which makes me feel very old.
Someone says like 20 years ago, I think, 1990s, and it's
Yeah.
no, that's 2000.
Yep. Yep. I was just a small little lad. So for me this week,
Mm-hmm.
my music recommendation is actually a band called Johnny, Gonny, and his newest album called, or sorry, let me flip that around. It's actually the album called Johnny, Gonny, by the artist called
Mm-hmm.
The Drums. The Drums is a kind of an indie electronic artist. I would say the most similar vibes to it is something between like Tame Impala and Radiohead. But his most recent album has a
Okay.
lot of kind of experimental indie work, which is really really cool. It's more of like an easy listening kind of album. But yeah, it's pretty good. Outside of that one, I also just wanted to give our mutual friend a quick little shout out. Did you know that Zach had actually released another single or a single recently?
Yep. I follow Zach on Spotify. I listen. I still on all my playlists. I play him whenever I can. Show him to people that I think would like him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Zach.
So for those of you guys who don't know, one of our friends, somebody who used to work with us, his name is Zach James,
Mm-hmm.
and he's actually a Montana-based pop rap artist. I think what
Mm-hmm.
his moniker is the light skinned Chippewa boy. I think is that what he calls himself on TikTok?
I have no idea.
No idea. Yeah. Well, so anyways, he did
I know
release the newest.
he had a show the other night though.
He did. He did. From based on what I
Mm-hmm.
saw on Instagram, it looked pretty fucking cool. I wish I was still out there so that way I could go to it. But he had released a new single back in August called "Fuck You, You Ain't Shit." So definitely go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he started doing all this stuff whenever he was just in high school still, which is just insane. It's insane seeing somebody who's so young have such a good musical, talent and such a good drive. And it's also cool seeing an artist be actually successful in the style of art that he does in the Pacific Northwest and the Mountain West, because I would never have expected somebody like that to show up in the town we used to live in. Like it's just crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for us for musical recommendations this week. Yeah, I think we should probably just end on a positive note and just say that obviously, guys, we're really excited to be back. We're really happy that you guys have joined us this week. Next week, we are going to be doing kind of the unveil of our rebranding. We've got some exciting things to share with you guys
Boom.
when it comes to our
I
visual
am so
rebranding.
excited for that.
And then we're also going to be mixing some stuff up with the podcast in general. And we're just excited to unveil all that to you guys as well. I think before we go, the other thing I think I want to start doing is I think it's important for us as friends to start acknowledging when our other friends. I think in this society and world right now, like we're so easy to call each other out when we do stuff wrong and when somebody makes a misstep. And I don't feel like we do a good enough job of pointing out when our friends do good things and when our friends deserve to be shouted out. So I want to start shouting out people every week. I think
Okay.
it's important that both Kyle and I come up with somebody to shout out every week because at least there was some person that made our week better. And I'll start off. And for me this week, it was Matt. Those of you guys who have been a part of the podcast for a while, you guys know that Company Chicken, he's a big part of our podcast team. He's a big part of our vision team, or what we call the Jedi Council. And those of you guys who may not know this, but Chicken and I actually met several years ago through Destiny. We've never met in person, but he has become one of my absolute closest friends in life. And the other day, he and I had a really long but really good conversation about everything that's happening over in Israel. It was really, really cool getting his perspective on the issue as somebody who is personally affected by everything that's going on over there. And it was also cool just being able to have that conversation with somebody without things getting emotional and heated. And for those of you guys who know me, you know that I am inherently a political person, so I'm inherently going to talk about politics. And it's really nice having a friend who I feel like can have maybe even a disagreeing opinion and us still remain civil and us still be friends at the end of the day. So I want to give Chicken a huge shout out for that, because there's not very many people who, especially on this topic, can remain unemotional and still have a conversation. What about you, Kyle?
Well, I didn't know this was going to happen, but the first person that actually came to my mind was Jeremy.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Miss that fucking guy.
Us. A lot of the time, I don't have, money for food or an energy drink just to wake up or anything like that. And I don't even have to ask. I just, when we stop at a gas station or whatever in the morning, if I don't get out, he comes out with food for me, drink for me if I want it.
Babe!
Like, and it's not even just me, like... Yeah. It's not even just me. He'll he takes care of the crew. But obviously, like, we're really good friends.
Yeah.
So just little things like that. He makes going to work bearable. How insane
with how crazy it's gotten. Yeah.
And I'll never tell him to his face because fuck him. But
but he's listening to, so still fuck you.
Yes.
Yeah. He is the person on the planet that he is the biggest teddy bear, even though people think that he's the biggest dick on the planet. Like I remember when I first got there, I was so intimidated by Jeremy, but man, he is just such a sweet guy. I love to hear that. I love that he does that for the crew and for you. He's a good guy, a good schmo.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my roommate every time we go out of town.
Cuddle buddy.
We're always talking about sports and all that stuff, and it's just nice to work with him. Good dude.
Good guy. Well, guys, I think this is kind of a good place to wrap it up. We're right over the hour, a little bit over the hour mark. Do you want to do the normal X shit? Do you want X shit? I just said that. You want to do the normal exit there, Kyle?
Sure. If you listen through this whole thing or watch this whole thing, we're just happy you were able to hang out for a bit. And very, very, very appreciative. We have a very, very cool Discord community we can join that we'll link wherever we can link it.
Yeah. We remember to link it.
Promoting stuff, so that's about all I got.
Yeah. Well, as always, guys, just remember, if nobody else tells you this week, you do matter. You are important, and we do care about you and love the shit out of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave us a quick little review. Doing something as simplistic as that does go a long way. If there was some content that you guys want to see out of the future, don't forget to comment down below. And if you like some of the content that we talked about today, don't forget to comment down below. This has been episode 14 of Nerd Pod, and we will catch you guys next week. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, fuck. Shit. That was like a cough sneeze. Anyways, yeah.
That's the best ending.
This is the end of Nerd Pod. This is bad.